The sun was setting over the busy marketplace of Valora, a city on a distant alien world full of strange creatures and bright lights. Among the crowd walked a human named Jack. He was far from Earth, exploring this new world with curious eyes. His mission was simple: learn about alien life and survive. Jack's clothes were plain but practical. He carried a small bag and moved carefully through the crowd. His eyes caught many unusual things: colorful food stands, aliens with many arms, and glowing shops that sold things he could not understand. But today Jack was not just wandering. He had a plan. He was going to meet an alien girl named Lyra. She was from this world but looked very different from others. Lyra had pale blue skin and big shining eyes. She was curious about humans too. The two had met once before, briefly, when Jack helped her fix a broken machine. Now they had agreed to meet for dinner. For Lyra, this was unusual. Alien dinners were often loud and crowded, with many guests and big feasts. But this dinner was just the two of them. Jack found a small restaurant where they had agreed to meet. It was quiet compared to the marketplace. He stepped inside and looked around. There, at a corner table, sat Lyra. She smiled as he approached. "Hello, Jack," she said softly. "I am glad you came." "Me too," Jack replied with a friendly smile. "This place looks nice." A waiter came quickly and handed them menus. Jack was used to menus, but Lyra looked confused. "How do you choose what to eat here?" she asked. Jack shrugged. "You pick what you want, then we pay when we leave." Lyra nodded slowly and looked at the strange words on the menu. She pointed to something. "What is this?" "That's grilled meat. Humans eat it a lot." Lyra made a small face. "I am not sure I like the idea." Jack laughed. "You can try something else if you want." After some time, they ordered their food. As they waited, Jack pulled out a small device. It looked like a thin card with lights. He showed it to Lyra. "This is how we pay here," Jack said. "When we finish, we split the bill." Lyra's eyes grew wide. "Split the bill? What do you mean?" Jack explained. "We each pay for what we eat. It is fair." Lyra looked shocked. "No. Real males always provide food. That is how it is where I come from." Jack blinked. "Really? Why?" "In my culture, a male shows his strength and care by paying for food." "Sharing money means you are weak," Lyra said, her voice rising with surprise. Jack felt the air change around them. The waiter came with their food, but Lyra barely looked at it. She stared at Jack with a mixture of shock and confusion. "Don't understand," she said quietly. "How can you call yourself a strong man if you want to split the bill?" Jack smiled gently. "In my world, we believe in sharing. It does not mean we are weak. It means we trust each other." Lyra shook her head. "Trust is shown by providing, not splitting. Real males bring food to those they care about." Jack thought for a moment. He wanted to explain more, but then something happened. At the next table, a group of aliens who knew Lyra started to laugh loudly. They heard their conversation. One of them shouted, "Look at this human. He is too cheap to pay for his own food." Lyra's cheeks turned red with embarrassment. Jack felt eyes on him, judging and mocking, but he stayed calm. "I may be cheap to you, but I respect your culture. I only want to be honest." One alien stood and walked over. "Honesty. You think that will save you here?" Jack looked into the alien's eyes without fear. "No, my actions will." The alien laughed and returned to his group. The laughter grew louder. Lyra looked nervous but said nothing. Jack then reached into his bag and pulled out a small package. "I brought something for you," he said to Lyra. She took it carefully. It was a simple, human snack, dried fruit and nuts. Lyra sniffed it and smiled a little. "It's not food from my world," she said, "but it is kind." Jack nodded. "Maybe we can learn from each other. Your way and mine." Lyra looked at him, her eyes softening. "Maybe." Suddenly, the waiter returned with the bill. Jack picked up the device again and prepared to pay his share. Lyra watched in silence, then slowly said, "Will you stay after dinner?" "I want to learn more about your world." Jack smiled warmly. "I will stay." As long as you want. As the two finished their meal, the tension between their cultures was still there. But something new was growing, a fragile bridge between worlds. Outside, the lights of Valora flickered, and the night grew deeper. The strange dinner was over, but the story had only just begun. The next day, Jack waited at the edge of the bustling alien market. Lyra was already there, pacing nervously. Her pale blue skin seemed paler, and her big eyes showed a mix of anger and confusion. Today was not just a meeting, it was a test. Jack, she said sharply, I talked with my friends last night. They say your way of splitting the bill is not just strange, it is weak. They say a real male must provide everything. Jack smiled calmly. I know your people value honor and food, but my world is different. We share everything. It is how we build trust. Lyra folded her arms. If you want respect here, you must show strength, not by talking, but by action. Jack nodded. What do you want me to do? Lyra's eyes sparkled with challenge. Hunt for food. Bring back a prize that proves your strength. Jack blinked. Hunting was dangerous here. The wild forests outside the city were home to fierce creatures. No alien dared go alone, but Jack knew this was his chance. I accept your challenge, he said firmly. When I return with food, will you tell your friends the truth? Lyra hesitated, then nodded. Jack spent the rest of the day preparing. He borrowed tools from the market, a sharp knife, a small net, and some traps. Locals watched him with doubt. A human alone in the alien wild was an easy target. At night, Jack entered the thick forest. Strange sounds surrounded him, growls, screeches, and rustling leaves. The moonlight barely reached the ground. Every step was careful. Suddenly, a glowing shape moved near a tree. Jack froze. It was a creature he had never seen large with. Many legs and sharp claws, eyes burning like fire. Jack's heart raced. He remembered his training on Earth, but knew this was no ordinary hunt. He used his net to trap the creature's leg and pulled it down. The beast struggled, but Jack held tight. After a tense fight, the creature lay still. Jack caught his breath. He knew this prize would impress Lyra's people. It was not just food, it was a symbol of strength. The next morning, Jack returned to the market. News had spread. Everyone wanted to see if the humans survived. Lyra ran to meet him. Did you succeed? She asked, eyes wide. Jack lifted the strange beast for all to see. Whispers filled the crowd. Some aliens nodded in respect. Others still doubted. But Lyra smiled and said loudly, Maybe this human is not as weak as we thought. Jack looked at her. Maybe strength means more than just money. The crowd was silent, waiting for the next move. Suddenly, a loud voice shouted from the back. He cheated! No one can hunt that beast alone. An alien stepped forward, anger in his eyes. We will see if the human's strength lasts when tested in battle. Lyra stepped between Jack and the angry alien. Enough. Let him prove himself. Jack smiled inside. The real test had just begun. The crowd's eyes still burned on Jack as he stood next to Lyra. The strange beast he caught was impressive, but the real challenge was yet to come. The angry alien's words echoed in Jack's mind. We will see if the human strength lasts when tested in battle. Lyra stepped forward and whispered, If you want to prove yourself fully, you must enter the Forbidden Wilds. No alien has returned from there alive. Jack looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. The Forbidden Wilds was a dark, dangerous forest at the edge of the planet, legend said. Monsters and spirits lived there, things no one dared face. Why do I have to go there? Jack asked quietly. To show your true strength, Lyra said. If you survive the wilds, my people will accept you. If not, her voice dropped. You will be lost. The crowd grew silent. Many watched with fear and excitement. Felt a cold chill run down his spine. He took a deep breath. I will go. Early the next morning, Jack prepared for the journey. Lyra gave him a small charma, glowing stone said to protect travelers in the wilds. Jack held it tightly. The Forest was thick with mist. Strange sounds echoed everywhere.
Amen.
Jack moved slowly, eyes sharp, every step careful. Suddenly, the ground shook. From the shadows, huge beasts appeared, twisted creatures with glowing eyes and sharp teeth. Jack froze. But his training kicked in. Using quick moves, he dodged their attacks. He found a narrow path and ran deeper into the wilds. Hours passed. Jack was tired, but pushed on. Suddenly, he found an ancient ruin covered in strange symbols. A soft light glowed inside. He stepped in carefully. The air was heavy, but the light felt warm. Suddenly, a voice whispered in his mind, "Only the brave survive here." Jack's heart pounded. He touched one of the symbols, and the ground trembled. A hidden door slowly opened, revealing a glowing weapon, a sword made of light. Jack picked it up. The sword felt strong in his hands, as if it was made for him. With new hope, he stepped outside. The beast returned, but this time Jack fought with courage and skill. The sword cut through the shadows and the creatures fled. When Jack returned to the market, the crowd gasped. He held the glowing sword high. Lyra smiled proudly. He did not just survive the wilds, he conquered them. The angry alien looked shocked. This human is unlike any other. Jack looked at Lyra. Maybe strength is not just about fighting. It is about courage, heart, and respect. The crowd cheered. A new respect for the human was born, but in the shadows, a new danger watched, waiting for the right moment to strike. The day after Jack returned with the heart of Valora, the alien market was alive with excitement. Jack had proven his courage and loyalty, yet something deeper was still missing between him and Lyra's people, a true understanding. Lyra approached Jack with a different kind of challenge. "Jack," she said quietly, "it is time you see my world through my eyes. Come, share a meal with my family." Jack nodded. He wanted to learn, to connect. But he had no idea how strange this dinner would be. That evening, Jack entered a large tent filled with soft lights and warm smells. Lyra's family was waiting, a group of tall, graceful aliens with gentle faces. They greeted Jack with quiet nods and curious glances. On the table lay dishes unlike anything Jack had seen, glowing fruits that shimmered, thin slices of shimmering leaves, and a bubbling stew that smelled sweet and spicy. Lyra's mother smiled and said, "This is our food. Eat with your hands, share everything." Jack hesitated. He was used to knives and forks, plates and cups. But here, sharing food was a sacred ritual. He reached out and touched a glowing fruit. It felt warm, almost alive. He bit into it and gasped. The taste was like nothing he had ever experienced, sweet, sharp, and full of energy. Lyra laughed softly. "You see, food here is more than hunger. It is connection." But then Jack did something unexpected. Remembering his own culture, he reached into his bag and pulled out a small pack of human snacks, cookies, and dried fruits. He placed them on the table. The aliens looked puzzled. Lyra's father raised an eyebrow. "Is this your food?" "Yes," Jack said. "In my world, we share food from everywhere. It is a way to show friendship." The tent fell silent. Some aliens looked amused, others confused. Then a young alien girl tried the cookies. Her eyes lit up. "This is delicious." Laughter broke the silence. The mood shifted. Lyra smiled at Jack. "Maybe your strange ways are not so bad after all," Jack smiled back. "Maybe sharing is not just about food. It is about trust and friendship." As the meal continued, Jack learned the strange customs of Lyra's people. Eating together was a bond, a promise. And even though their foods were different, their hearts were the same. Outside, the night deepened. The stars shone bright over Valora. Jack felt a new connection growing, not just with Lyra, but with her world. But in the shadows, old enemies watched, waiting for the right moment to challenge the human who dared change their ways. The day after Jack returned with the heart of Valora, the alien market was alive with excitement. Jack had proven his courage and loyalty, Yet something deeper was still missing between him and Lyra's people, a true understanding. Lyra approached Jack with a different kind of challenge. "Jack," she said quietly, "it is time you see my world through my eyes. Come, share a meal with my family." Jack nodded. He wanted to learn, to connect. But he had no idea how strange this dinner would be. That evening, Jack entered a large tent filled with soft lights and warm smells. Lyra's family was waiting, a group of tall, graceful aliens with gentle faces. They greeted Jack with quiet nods and curious glances. On the table lay dishes unlike anything Jack had seen, glowing fruits that shimmered, thin slices of shimmering leaves, and a bubbling stew that smelled sweet and spicy. Lyra's mother smiled and said, "This is our food. Eat with your hands, share everything." Jack hesitated. He was used to knives and forks, plates and cups. But here, sharing food was a sacred ritual. He reached out and touched a glowing fruit. It felt warm, almost alive. He bit into it and gasped. The taste was like nothing he had ever experienced, sweet, sharp, and full of energy. Lyra laughed softly. "You see, food here is more than hunger. It is connection." But then Jack did something unexpected. Remembering his own culture, he reached into his bag and pulled out a small pack of human snacks, cookies, and dried fruits. He placed them on the table. The aliens looked puzzled. Lyra's father raised an eyebrow. "Is this your food?" "Yes," Jack said. "In my world, we share food from everywhere. It is a way to show friendship." The tent fell silent. Some aliens looked amused, others confused. Then a young alien girl tried the cookies. Her eyes lit up. "This is delicious." Laughter broke the silence. The mood shifted. Lyra smiled at Jack. "Maybe your strange ways are not so bad after all," Jack smiled back. "Maybe sharing is not just about food. It is about trust and friendship." As the meal continued, Jack learned the strange customs of Lyra's people. Eating together was a bond, a promise. And even though their foods were different, their hearts were the same. Outside, the night deepened. The stars shone bright over Valora. Jack felt a new connection growing, not just with Lyra, but with her world. But in the shadows, old enemies watched, waiting for the right moment to challenge the human who dared change their ways. Days passed since Jack shared the meal with Lyra's family. The market buzzed with stories about the human who dared to enter forbidden forests and win ancient treasures. But peace was fragile. One evening, as the twin moons rose over Valora, a messenger rushed into the market square. His face was pale and his voice trembled. "A rival tribe approaches. Seek to claim our lands and challenge our new ally." Whispers spread quickly. The rival tribe was known for cruelty and strength. It long hated outsiders and humans in particular. Lyra stepped forward, her face serious. "Jack, we need your help. This is not just a fight for land, it is a fight for our future." Jack looked around. The aliens who once doubted him now looked at him for hope. His sword gleamed in the moonlight. "I will stand with you," Jack said firmly. "Together we can face this threat." The next day, preparations began. Aliens sharpened weapons and built defenses. Jack taught some basic strategies from his world: how to use the terrain, when to retreat, how to work as a team. Lyra watched him closely, her respect growing. When the rival tribe arrived, the market fell silent. The air was heavy with tension. The battle began with fierce shouting and clashing weapons. Jack fought alongside the aliens, his sword cutting through the enemy's lines. At one moment, an enemy charged at Lyra. Jack jumped in front, blocking the attack. "Your fight is ours," Jack shouted slowly. The rival tribe began to retreat, confused by the human strength and courage. After the battle, the tribal leader raised Jack's hand. "You have earned your place among us." Lyra smiled and said softly, "Your strange ways, your courage, they have changed everything." But as the crowd cheered, Jack noticed dark shapes moving just beyond the trees, another enemy. Watching, waiting, the fight was far from over. The dust from the battle had barely settled when the tribe gathered around Jack and Lyra. The air was thick with relief and something new: respect. Lyra looked at Jack with eyes full of warmth. "I was wrong about many things. You taught me that real strength is not just in muscles or money. It is in courage, trust, and sharing." Jack smiled. "And you showed me that honor is more than tradition. It is about heart." The tribal leader stepped forward, holding an ancient scroll. "By our laws, Jack, you are now one of us. You carry our trust and our bond." Jack felt a strange weight lift from his shoulders. For the first time, he belonged not just as a visitor, but as family. That night, under the bright stars of Valora, Jack and Lyra sat together by the fire. The glow of the flames danced on their faces. "Will you stay?" Lyra asked softly. Jack looked up at the sky. "I came here a stranger, but now I think this is home." Suddenly, from the darkness, a soft growl interrupted them. From the shadows stepped a large creature, the strange beast Jack had caught long ago. It looked calm, almost protective. Lyra smiled. "Your pet, a symbol of your bond to this world." Jack reached out and touched the beast's head, nuzzled him gently. The future was uncertain. New challenges awaited. But one thing was clear: Jack and Lyra had built a bridge between worlds. Stronger than any difference, as the night grew quiet, a whisper in the wind carried a warning. Distant threats stirred in the galaxy. But together, human and alien, they were ready.